Greetings and welcome to Stunthangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter, and I'll be your host this evening. I want to extend to you my gratitude for you watching Stunthangar Video Hangouts. If you are watching this as a replay, I want you to know that I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please make a note of this so you can watch or be part of the live stream. Plus, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. You must be a registered Stunthangar Forum member to find the link to be part of the live stream and the following after party. Here at Stunthangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, and what you've been doing lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunthangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench. And momentarily, I'm going to post a link there with today's date. Now, if you're not a member, please register at stunthangar.com/SMF. That's stunthangar.com/SMF as Smart Men Flying. You must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address or Sparky. The proprietor of Stunthangar will not approve you. Now, if you're inclined to just watch us on YouTube, wonderful, fantastic. Please enter your questions or comments in the chat box. I'll do my best to make your comments a part of the show. Understand, sometimes I can't get a word in myself, so be patient, and I'll ask our illustrious panel your question or state your comment. If you find Stunthangar Video Hangouts or the many building videos that Sparky does on this platform informative and enjoyable, please give us a like, that's a thumbs up, subscribe, and share the videos, and comments. Those all help the analytics. Regarding the comments, you can comment. I'm only in Sparky's space. This is Sparky's YouTube channel, by the way, not mine. But I have a YouTube channel called Flying Control Line Stunt. That's all the letters are there, all run together, Flying Control Line Stunt. And the U.S. Nationals video of me flying at the Nationals, you can comment there, and I'll get a notice, an alert right away, and that you comment. And if you had a question or comment, I'll be able to respond quickly. Please consider joining Sparky's, that's Stunthangar, YouTube channel memberships, which start at just $4.99 a month, which is less than 17 cents a day. And you're getting like 55 years plus of building and flying experience from Sparky himself. And he wants to help, wants to show you how to build and fly. So your support helps offset, I'm talking about the subscription to the YouTube channel, some of the expenses of running Stunthangar. And with your memberships, you'll get special badges I'll see in the YouTube chat, and unlimited replay of member-only videos. And once a month, Sparky has a question and answer show for members only. You can also use the super chat, which looks like a $sign at the bottom of the chat box to make donations. I want to thank you for your past, your present, and future support. You are making things happen. Now, to make the donations, it has to be done during the live stream. So please subscribe and hit the notification bell so that when Sparky comes on or myself, you'll be notified, and then you can go and make a donation. And if it's not a convenient time to watch, I understand it's late on the East Coast, so please come back and watch the replay. But during the replay, you can't make donations. So please do that during the live stream. And you can also comment during the live stream and ask questions during the live stream. I want to ask you to please keep the conversations family room friendly. In other words, please don't use words or say things you wouldn't say around your children or grandchildren. And without any further ado, I'm going to post a link at Stunthangar Forum now. And so let me go there now. Let's see here. Just give me a moment to find that link. Here we go. Okay, there he is. So, all right, I'm posting the link right now. Great, that's done. So those friends out there or people who want to come in for the first time, you're more than welcome. Please do. You do not have to be an expert to join our conversation. Let's see here. So let me Go here and see what's going on. I'm going into the YouTube control panel so I can see what's happening. Got to make some changes every single time. And Dennis Adamison says, like delivered. Thank you very much, Dennis. I appreciate that. Let me edit this setup here. Just bear with me momentarily. Hope everybody's doing well out there. All right, so let me get rid of this. And let's see here. All right, well, until others come in, let me just talk about what I've been doing lately. You know, the Strega at the last contest, what a frustrating day. You know, there's three, oh, here's Denny, great. Hey, Denny.
Hey, top of the morning, Charles. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Hey, life is good. I've been able to get out and fly the last 2 days. First time since August 1st.
All right.
I am living large, my friend.
Yes, you are. Hey, that is awesome. Man, I'm really happy to hear that, Dennis.
Yeah, I went to the doctor on Tuesday and I said, you know, the month of August has passed and I've been sitting on my, you know, on my my rear of my feet up and the month of August has passed. I'm gonna go out. Oh, you should do it. Well, I'll be careful. I'm gonna go out. Okay. So I went out and you know, just behaved myself. So
very good. Hey, yeah, Mike.
The first one here for once.
I know. I appreciate that, Danny. Thank you. Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Doing good. How's everybody else doing?
We're doing good. I mean, Danny's excited. Went out to fly this week.
All right.
First time home. Well, since August 1st, I guess.
So did you you and Wesley Dick went out there?
Yeah. Yep.
Fantastic.
So we had a pretty good time.
Wesley Dick is 89, right?
Right.
Yeah. So those of you out there out there in the YouTube land, we have an 89-year-old guy still flying stunt, probably flies better stunt than me. And so it's amazing.
Yeah, I told him, I apologized to him, as I haven't been really critiquing him, you know. And you know, he's got a couple of things because he's got vertigo and stuff like that. So he can't do an overhead eight at all. I mean, he does it about 45 degrees down, which actually isn't that bad when you compare to some of the ones you see at the contest even. But and he's learned basically to power through it. It doesn't really, you know, it can't really overcome the vertigo. He's just kind of adjusting to it. And but I haven't been hammering him, if you will, on just the regular horizontal stuff. He had some shape issues, stuff like that. I started picking on him this week and stuff, and we got him a few points, I think. So
oh, good. Yeah, it's great to have that, especially if you can, in addition to saying what someone's doing wrong. What I really appreciate about Mike Mulligan, if you're out there, was of all the people who critique me, he actually would give me a solution. You know, sometimes it's just the physicality of your positioning or movements that screw us up. And he'd watch me and he'd go, Charles, you're doing this. Like, for example, on the overhead 8, I was doing this fine, but on the other one, I needed to cross over more, open it up. And he goes, Charles, you need to cross more. See, I was just struggling trying to get it open like that, but just exerting that. And that was an easy fix. And I have to remember to do that, you know, when I'm flying.
Yeah, you're developing a whole new muscle memory. Well, right. In Wes's case, the way I figure is, you know, he's not going to overcome some of the things he can do, but things like the horizontal maneuvers and stuff, he can nail those. If he can pick up every single point he can on the maneuvers he can do, he's going to do just fine.
Yeah, that's what I call it low-hanging fruit. I just hate to give up points. Like when the Strega, when it came in, it's my first time on a hard surface and over almost a couple years with that plane. and they come in and bounce, 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 bounce. That was just so frustrating. You know, you have your approach, you're descending, you know, very nice. You got it controlled. You're doing good. And all of a sudden, bounce, 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 bounce. It's just so frustrating. So I finally, you know, I've been so busy. I really didn't, by the way, hi, Gary. Thank you for coming in, my man.
Mhm.
And so matter of fact, I was flying today, and Joe Mata noticed I had on the underside of the wing, I had masking tape and cleared it down. I actually had marked where the CG is, you know, and I explained to him I was getting ready to set up my landing gear when I get a chance, so that I can. Of course, I'm practicing on grass, which requires the landing gear to be a little bit more forward than it would be on asphalt. But I had no idea where I was at because I didn't even have the CG indicated on the wing. So I have that, and hopefully I might end up bending another set of landing gear just for asphalt because I just hate giving up those points. Hey, Phil, how you doing?
Doing great. How are you?
Doing well.
Hey, Phil.
I went flying
Howdy,
today,
howdy.
and Denny went flying this week. Did you go flying?
Yeah. No, going in the morning.
Going in the morning? All right.
Good.
Which plane are you
Yeah,
going to take out tomorrow?
I don't know. I've been thinking about taking the Pathfinder, but I believe I'm going to break down and take the Mo Best.
Oh, cool.
I call mine. Tom Dixon called it a Mo Beast because it has a 76 in it. So, hey, what the heck?
Yeah, Mo Beast. I like that.
Yeah, it is a beast. It definitely is a beast. The computer's been about to drive me crazy tonight. I've been trying to get on for the last few minutes, and the regular computer is asinine tonight. Every time I turn this thing on, I have to upgrade, go here, go there.
That's all.
I'm just sticking with a little Apple. It works.
Yeah, it's working fine. Hey, Tryon,
But-
thanks for coming in, Tryon.
Yeah, Brian's here.
Hey, good to be here.
Yeah, we got bad news. Tryon and I both got bad news today.
What's that?
Georgia contest has been canceled.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, the CD and his wife have COVID. Tom
Oh.
Dixon called me a while ago, about 4:00, and gave me the news. So I had to try to call the guys around here, most of which I already knew because Tom also calls Larry Drawn. But anyway,
Yeah, it's already on Stunthangar itself.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay. Yeah, it's like
yeah. I saw it when I was trying to get in. Tonight. It was already on Stunthangar, but no, that's a mess. But I got an interesting topic for us after a while. Once we get going, a few more people
great.
get in. I'm trying to do some painting, and we have a few people who know a lot about paint, and I want to know about what kind of, when I was growing up, I always heard about Billy Werwich putting acrylic toners in his dope. Well, my dog likes to chew everything up. If he finds anything on the floor paper, it's destroyed. Anyway, he's still got a lot of puppy in him. Anyway,
Rex.
I haven't heard anybody use the dog ate my homework as an excuse for finishing. All right.
Danny, I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. Earlier tonight, Trent and I were talking, and I've got some stuff to look for. I put it on a piece of paper and put it in my pocket. The reason that piece of paper is so dented up right there, that's my dog tooth prints. He tried to pull it out of my pocket. This dog loves paper. He will destroy it. He don't care whether it's a toilet roll, the center thing out of a toilet roll that somebody didn't put deep enough in the trash can or something, or what. If he can get his paws on it and it's paper, he's going to make little bitty pieces out of it. But anyway, the guy at the paint shop said that the paint that he has is I've forgotten the word for it, but it was a P something. I don't know. I know it if I hear it again. But anyway, I always thought of that as being something way different from lacquer. But he said if it will work, if I can make it work, to go ahead and tell him, and he'll get me a shot of it. But I want some yellow. Wendy Ertnowski used to sell some stuff he called intensifier. And you put this stuff about, maybe ounce and a half of it into a quart of yellow paint, and it will cover white in one coat.
Yeah, you're talking about pigment, right? You
Yep.
said toner. You
Yeah.
meant pigment, or is pigment toner and toner is pigment?
Well, pigment is actually the you have to think of it as flakes is the pigment, and they lay over one another. And I think my earbuds just died. But anyway, um, the toner and pigment's pretty much the same thing.
Okay.
I
So
think
anyway, it's
toner may
I'm
be
just
finer ground.
could be. It could be. I don't know. I don't know what the thing is, but what he has is whatever the P is that this new paint it's not polyacrylic. It's poly. I can't think. I'm having one of those days when I can't remember anything. But anyway, it's just one of those things. I'm hoping some of the guys come in that are painters, and maybe they can set me straight because I don't know. I know nothing about this stuff. I've been fooling with dope for 50 years, but when you start talking about all these modern paints, all I know is the stuff I used on my impact. I'll think of the name of it in a minute. That thing, we always try for a 10-ounce finish. Well, I've got it in white, and it's picked up almost 12 ounces.
Oh,
Just the white coat. So it's just too stinking heavy. I said, I guess I was painting shadows. I don't know. But man, that sucker got heavy. I went to pick it up when I could finally take it off the stand, take it away to the plane. Went to pick it up. I said, my gosh, I think I just gave myself a hernia. So
yes.
I'm going to have to sand that puppy down and redo it. But
Yeah, mystery weight. I don't know. I haven't painted a plane in a long time, but we'll be painting my next plane, I believe. And besides the SV11 ARF, but the
you got to do that.
Balsa will
You
be
got to do
painted.
precious balsa.
Yeah, that'd be painted.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm going to see if I can't learn something tonight. I want to find out about toners because, like I say, I want to do this one in one coat. And I've got it white, and I've got the roundels taped on it. I've got the, whatever you call it, slashed down it. I'm using an old Navy paint scheme, blue fuselage, yellow wings. It's got a red slash on it. Got the big 6-inch roundels on it. It's a humongous. And I'm going to try to fix it up. I saw one at a contest painted this way, and my heart sunk because I said, somebody beat me to my paint scheme. I've had this drawn up for years and didn't get it done. And I'm going to go ahead and paint it. I'm trying to get it painted. I was trying to get it painted for the contest coming up next weekend, which is now not coming up, but I'm going to try to get it painted anyway because I want to finish something. I finished 2 so far. I had 9. I finished 2. Now I've got 2 more that are close enough I can finish. The Ringmaster needs clear, and the Humongous needs which the clear is on order from Brodak, by the way, and the Humongous needs the yellow put on it, and then I'll put the blue on it. It's not as hard as it sounds. Anyway, I'm getting there. But I'm ready to go flying. I've done a lot of working on models. I'm ready to go fly some.
All right. Hey, Tryon, what you been up to, Tryon?
I've been, fixing out my mess. It's like, the story that, me mixing up the epoxy like I'm a genius, right? So,
Yes.
I've been cleaning up the molds. So last time I was with you guys on a meeting, I was just peck with a toothpick, trying to get the stuff out of there. And a day later, I had one more to go, and I said, let me try some lacquer thinner, right? It came off right away, and I was like,
yep, should have done that
Yeah.
the first time. Yeah,
why
I
didn't
know.
I use a damn
Yeah.
thing to start with? Genius, right? So anyways, I had to repolish the aluminum molds and stuff like that, treat them again. And I just finished putting the vinyl cut stencils on top of them on the elevator and the wing section that I messed up. So that's where I'm at right now.
Oh, very cool. Yes.
Meant to say something. Let me ask Trent something. Meant to say something today, and I forgot about it. When we sprayed those before with a airbrush,
Yeah.
and it went little areas like this. Let's try it with the big brush where we got a big fan spray and maybe 3 sprays to do the whole thing, do it a lot more even. Let's try that. The bigger airbrush gun. If you don't have one, I'll bring one.
Yeah.
I have a couple of them downstairs. Let's try a
Uh-huh.
bigger gun. I think we'll get a much more even coat, and it might work better.
Sure. Yeah.
I'll bring it with me.
Sure. Yeah.
Make sure we have one.
I think I have one too, but I'm not sure what
Okay.
I'm using it for, clear or something like that. So
Well, mine's a clear gun, but
Mhm.
that's all I shoot in. It's clear.
yeah.
I have
So
one for white, one for clear, and one for dark colors.
Yeah.
You'd be
Out of-
surprised when it's how many times it spits out something though, and you're in the middle of something, and all of a sudden, wrong color comes out. Oh,
Oh.
wonderful, huh?
yeah, oh yeah. Let me show y'all something.
Hey, John.
Yes.
Thanks for coming in, John.
This is my
Wow.
terrorist.
Is that a
Ain't he a
beast?
mess? He is a beast.
The
He's a little
T-Rex.
terrorist. Jack, yeah, this is T-Rex. He chews anything he can get his paws on. He's a
But he
mess,
loves
but
you.
I love him.
See a schnauzer?
Yeah, miniature schnauzer. And
Beautiful.
my granddaughter knew I wanted a puppy, and somebody took him to her. She works part-time at a breeder's. Somebody dropped him off to be groomed. She is not a groomer. She's a breeder. So they told her that they no longer groomed and they no longer boarded dogs. And the girl said, well, I'll come back. I'm on the way to work. I'll come back this evening to get him. Well, a week went by and she hadn't come got him, and she couldn't have him around her puppies because she don't know what shots he's had and what he has not had. Well, now it's moot point. He goes to the vet one day this week, Wednesday, I think, and gets a full series. But anyway, oh, my aching pocketbook. But anyway, Brittany called and said, hey, Grandpa, you want a dog? She knew I was brokenhearted over losing that little Chihuahua. So she asked me if I wanted a dog and showed up with this little terrorist. And the rest is infamy. Not history, infamy. He's a mess, but he's stolen everybody's heart, but he chews everything up. I mean, he is a menace, but he's such a sweetheart.
Miniature schnauzers are great little dogs.
Yeah, they are. He's a mess. This is Jack. We call him Jumping Jack Flash. So because he jumps up. Hey, I'm 6'4" and I can stick my arms out like this. He don't bend down or take a run and start. He just goes twang and he's in your arms. I don't know how he does it, but
Wow.
he's a mess.
You know
He's
how he does
absolutely
it? He
mess.
does it. He does it like that, toying.
Twang, that's it. But he's just him and my bird. He goes in there and sits and looks at my bird and sits and looks at the bird in the cage, and the bird just looks down at him and whistles. I think the bird's saying, come here. I want to get a better look at you. But
For a moment, I
the
thought
two of
that, I'm sorry. For a moment, I thought Sparky was trying to come in, but I guess that was me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
but he's a
So-
mess.
Hey, Phil,
Mhm.
did
Yes,
I
sir.
overhear you? Are you having troubles with your printer? The
No,
new one?
no.
Oh, good.
Are you having
good.
trouble
I
with
was
yours?
worried. No, but
No,
I
mine's
thought you were
working
talking
great.
about. Okay.
No,
Okay.
I'm still having trouble trying to figure out what's wrong with the old Kodak because this don't do pictures near as good as the Kodak.
Now, I think when you
And,
mentioned toner, that's what kind of threw people off. You know, toners with the laser jet printers.
Coppers.
Or
Yeah, I've got one of those too, but it's just black and white. But no, this is the toners that go into paint. John, I can't remember the word for it, but it's like polyester paint or something that they've got now that they use now.
Uh-huh.
And everybody says, oh, that stuff's too heavy. Well, I can't remember what it is, but he's got that kind of toners because when they mix paint, they get white or they get clear and they put color in it. And if
Right.
you want this shade of blue, you get this much of this much black, this much dark blue, this much something else, this much white shot in it. And then they mix it all up, or actually they shake it up and you come up with a color you want. Well, all I want is yellow. And he trying to figure out, well, I don't know what color goes into yellow.
Yellow is a
It's
primary
yellow.
color.
Yellow,
the primary color.
dates.
Yeah, that's what I told him. I said, it's a primary color. I just want raw yellow. And I'm going to put it in the dope and stir it up and use it. He says, well, what if it don't blend? I said, then I've wasted a quart of yellow, but you're not out anything. I'm going to buy the toner from you. We'll put it in the toner, put it in the quart of yellow. And he said, wait a minute, you're going to put it in already yellow paint? I said, yes, sir. I want it. It doesn't have enough pigment in it. And what I used to do was buy a quart of paint and put it on the shelf and let it sit for a month. Then I'd open the can, disturbing it as little as possible. I'd open the can and pour off a third of it and then I take what was left and mix thinner in it and do pretty much the same thing that this should do. But with the prices of the darn stuff now, you can't afford to do that.
Well, have you played with that paint I sent you yet?
I haven't had a chance to play with that yet, but I'm going to view that. I'm going to use that on a different plane.
Because that yellow in there is pretty good.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I took a look at the yellow. I took a look at the yellow, and I took a look at the white, and they both look pretty dense. So they should. And I'm amazed. Thin it with water. Wow.
Yeah, you thin it with water, and you only thin it enough so that you can do a good spray job with it.
Yeah.
But I've only got 2 coats of yellow on my Pathfinder LE.
Well, I'm gonna shoot some. That's going, ironically, it's going on the Pathfinder, but my Pathfinder is electric. Gonna be electric. It's gonna be a twin. But good. I may finish the Pathfinder 3 first. And if I do, I don't know if it's gonna be electric. I haven't decided. Probably gonna be, because I'm pretty much going electric now.
You know, I'm saying Pathfinder a lot, so I get my money, you know.
Well, you know, we got to drop a quarter in a jar every time you say it. So, you know.
Yeah. Well, I can get, you know, if you can't come to grips with a guy on mixing the yellow for you the way you want it, consider using that painter's choice, or at least try it on something to see how it works for you. And I can get. I may try.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm gonna try this one more time. I wish I could get Wendy to. Well, I actually haven't. I don't guess I've really tried. Wish I could get Wendy to tell me what the stuff is that he used to sell me, because I used to buy it all the time. Every time I'd build a plane, it seemed like it always had some yellow on it, and I always had to buy some more pigment, because I'd have some left over, and one of the guys was, "Hey, I need some of that," and there'd go out the door. It doesn't matter whether I needed it or not. It went out the door.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get everything together and get this done, because for a winter project, I found, of all things, you know, some of you know I'm about half crazy about I want to build that Zen Acrobat, but I also love lasers, laser 200s. And my younger brother, before he passed, took a set of plans of mine, and I always told him that I love the airplane, but it has so many notes on it, I can't look at it. It gives me a headache. And I can hold up here. It's right there. I can hold it up and show it to you. It's a laser 200, and it's a beautiful airplane. It's smaller than the Get Atkinson airplane, but anyway, it's a laser 200, and it's gorgeous. But my little brother did the drafting and redrew that airplane for me with no notes. And he just left me a note, and he says, look at the other plane for the notes and this one to build by. These lines aren't fuzzy. And he's right. This thing's lines are fuzzy. It gives me a headache. But that one's not. It's beautiful. Go ahead, Charles.
I got 2 things. Marcel Legrand, he says, "Evening, Charles and everybody." And Jeff Riley says, "Phil, to the best of my knowledge, toner is meant to mix with clear to create a candy color." Then he goes on to say, "Pigment is used to make an opaque color."
Well, opaque's what I want. Pigment. Okay. Well,
I might wanna, you know, Phil, what I would do, I would just spray a very light coat
Jeff
of
Riley,
white
by the
before
way.
you put the.
it's got white on it. It's all white. I never shoot yellow that I don't put white down first.
I'll give Jack yours if you want.
Oh, you better give me my ice cream, woman. I'm going to give it to the dog.
Oh man, she's showing more love to the dog. Oh, look out.
I'm telling you, the dog is going to replace me one of these days.
So I have something to share when you.
Go ahead. I'm going to mute this thing.
All right.
And I'll shut up for.
So what I did today, I was playing with the computer system to see what is the surface. I was designing the skins on one of the wings that I was talking about the other day. And I did draw in a CAD format, and I was calculating the surface area. I did that to get a very accurate number for the surface area of the wing skin itself. So basically it was 3.5 inch at the root, 2.5 inch on the tip, some geodesic ribs like we usually do them on the light wing right now. And the trailing edge was about 3/4 of an inch wide. The cap strips that went over the ribs will be like 1/2 inch wide. So just out of curiosity, I was saying, what's the surface area? And somebody did a very accurate measurement of a piece of 48 by 12 inches of 164 plywood, right? So I calculated to see how much is the main area of the wing plus the flaps, right? So it's flaps included. And for both skins, top and bottom, and flaps, which is a single sheet of 164 plywood, 2 of them, right? It came out to 100 grams. It's just 100 grams, right? So because the plywood is the spar itself, right? You don't really need a spar. All you need is just a little piece of 1/8 inch by 1/8 inch balsa wood to maintain the shape of the plywood so it doesn't wave a little bit from rib to rib. That's all you would need in there to put. And when it looks like it's doable, so you can get a whole wing. If you have 100 grams budgeted for the flaps and the sheets of plywood for top and bottom, I think another 20-30 grams for the ribs and the rest of the stuff. Some thin pieces of stick, 1/8 inch for the trailing edge, another 1/8 inch by 1/8 inch on a, here and there, some tips for the. It should be doable in about 140 grams, 150 grams, and that shouldn't be too bad for a full wing with flaps.
So,
Dennis did his sweet pea has no spar in it. It's leading edge, trailing edge, and ribs, and the skin is the spar. When I got the plans, I couldn't believe it, but I asked him about it, and he said I wasn't seeing things. There's no spar, so it should work. Especially with plywood, that's a lot stronger.
Yes. Yeah, and I would also believe that it will be much more rigid from all direction, basically. Torsionally should be super rigid, and I mean, it's like you could probably save a little bit more weight, on the flaps. But now think about it, you have a continuous sheet of plywood that goes from trailing edge all the way to the leading edge. There's no joining between the cap strips, and you have a separate leading edge, separate trailing edge. There's no should be a lot easier to make a wing like that. And when it comes to finishing, you don't have the balsa that swells up and down and stuff like that. That gives you that, you have to put clear and send it off, clear and send it off. I mean, a lot of that stuff can be eliminated. And I think should be fairly easy to make a wing like that. Relatively light. And those actually the wing from my plane, which is 710 square inches. So take it with a grain of salt. That's what I was saying. This is what I want to share. It's like I could probably open it in Fusion 360 to show how it would look like if you're interested. But,
yeah, absolutely. And I want to see the plans you're talking about too, Phil. The ones that you said you're right there. Hey, Peter, thanks for coming in. And Brendan, I don't see you, but I see your shop. Brendan, thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. And so out there we have 18 viewers and we have 15 likes. So please hit the like button if you haven't done that yet, and consider joining our YouTube memberships, which start at $4.99 a month. And don't forget the chat revenue. You could help us out by donating. Hit the super chat as well. Thank you.
Phil, question, any luck finding that engine? Any luck finding the
I
engine?
think I know where it is now. I've got to find it. I've got to get down there and get at it. But I have motors in about 6 places.
Oh,
And unfortunately, when I uncovered the first place, I pretty well covered up the second. So
boy.
I'll get down there. I'll get down there again tomorrow.
I sure
I've been
appreciate
today.
Let me know
was-
what it costs to ship, and I'll definitely reimburse you for
I've
that.
got, well, it's yours when I find it. The today we've been dealing with a security light outside,
Oh, boy.
and even though I used to be a lineman, I had a ladder that scared me.
Oh,
So now I have to go up there again tomorrow and change the light out because the sensor doesn't. We got all that thing up there way up in the air, and the sensor's bad. So now I got to go up there and change that fool thing out tomorrow. But I've been trying to get stuff hauled off and get everything cleaned up around here, which I'm way behind on. And then trying to get a little modeling done, which I don't think I've been in the shop in 4 days. So 3 days, which means I haven't looked for anything in 3 days, but I will get it. I should, I'm home this weekend, so I should be able to find it for you tonight or tomorrow and give Charles a call and he can get in touch with me and let you know that I got it.
okay.
Okay, I'm ready.
John Paris is in the house. Hey, John.
Hey,
Thanks for
John.
coming
Hey,
in.
John. Hey, Big John.
So I'm ready. You
Great.
wanna see it?
Alrighty, go ahead. Take it away, Tryon.
All right, you guys see this?
Yeah,
Okay, so basically this is the wing platform here, as you can see it.
Okay.
So basically this sheet right here that you see, and this one here for the flaps, this is what I calculate for these 2 pieces, right?
Right.
And then I double it because it's on both sides. Okay, so this will be just 100 grams between the 4 of them, which I think, it compares, is very close to a balsa wing that we already do, right? I think we get our wings typically in what was it, about 9.5 ounces or so, 10 ounces or so, somewhere over there. That's about it, right?
You talking about the stab and elevator weight, you mean, or?
No, the wing with the flaps.
Oh, okay. I know Sparky's been struggling to get the stab and elevator below 2.5 or 2.5. They're always come out 3 ounces.
Usually about 3, I think, on him.
So I
There's
don't know
no
about
good wood available.
Yeah. So this is, this is a piggyback on a conversation we had a while ago for the lack of balsa wood, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, basically it's this piece right here and this piece right here. And just to show you something else, what I've done here, I was just out of curiosity, I was just trying to see what would it look like if, I would put them in on a sheet of plywood, right? And you can see like they all fit very nicely on a 4 feet by 4 feet piece of plywood. And actually, even if you cut it in half, like get a 2 feet by 4 feet with a laser cutter, I mean, this should be very easily done, right? I think the idea has merit, for sure it's going to be feasible because I know I built wings like that in the past. They were not control line wings, they were glider wings, which require a lot of torsional rigidity and they also require a lot of strength for the launch, that because it was a DLG, it was discus launch glider, so you throw the bejesus out of those things, so you want to stay together, right?
Right.
And basically you have no spar in that. There's no spar because the leading edge has a shape to it and stuff like that. So you can see it here. I'm not sure if you can see it clearly, but it is there. You see that?
Yeah.
This is one panel. And what I did, I put the leading edge parallel to the grain direction because you want a grain direction to go in that direction for more rigidity in a make it work as a spar. Obviously,
So is this covering going on top of the leading edge, or is this going to butt up to the leading edge?
well, that's the jury is out. You can even leave it open a little bit and put a plate of the leading edge right on top of it and shape it up. Or another option is to get another piece of plywood and mold it with a shape, with a round shape, and splice it in there, because plywood doesn't really want to turn very tight. I mean, it's okay on the softer turns, right? But as soon as you try to make it go around the sharp corner, make a tight turn, like a leading edge, might be problematic. I mean, I didn't test it yet or something like that, but the numbers are there, and the numbers show some that the project is definitely feasible, and weight-wise, at least.
You can put that 1/64th around a fairly small radius if you wet it first and really wet it.
That's
but
why I'm
if
thinking.
you do a glider type wing that's not the same on the top as it is on the bottom, and it comes to nearly a point in the front, it don't do that very well.
Yeah, so that's why I had an idea to maybe just do the leading edge separate and mold that. Right. So and have wherever the plywood is going to terminate in a leading edge, put like a 1/8 inch by 1/16 piece of balsa in there or something like that, something small.
That'd work.
Or a 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch by 1/8 inch, and when you glue the plywood, just glue it on half of it only, right? And the other half is for the leading edge, which is molded and is going to come and sweep all the way around. That makes sense.
You wouldn't use much balsa if you did it like typical RC airplane skinned foam wing. When you skin it with 64th balsa, you have it all flat on the front. You put a small amount of balsa there and bring it to shape.
Yeah, that's that's another way of doing it. Yeah, I was thinking about something even simpler than that. Just get a dowel pin or something like that, and like a piece of a round piece of wood that you get from whatever, from Home Depot, from something like that, and or maybe I don't know if what's going to be about 1/2 inch or about somewhere between 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch dowel, and get the plywood, just get it wet and just wrap it around with Ace Bandaids. So
that would probably work as well.
Yeah. So after you do the top and bottom, and you have the leading edge being supported by the 1/8 inch by 1/8 inch balsa wood, so you have half of the plywood just goes like only half of it, and the other half used for the leading edge that comes around, right? So, and it should be super easy to build something like that. I mean, I think in a few hours you have pretty much done building a wing like this, because you start from the ground up, from the tabletop, right? So basically what you have here, is this still presenting?
I see it
yeah,
on YouTube. Let me see here.
okay. So what I would do, you take the skin, right, and put it right on top of the table, right? And with a pencil, you can just trace all the edges. And now you can take the trailing edge piece of balsa wood, just glue it on top of the table. You take your ribs, which are the geodesic ribs, and you glue them right in position on top of the table because you have their position. Put double sticky tape on them, and then you take the lower skin of plywood and just place it in place, right? I mean, that should be super easy to do, right? And then now you have the wings, everything is in front of you. You lay up your trailing edge, you glue it in place, and now you put your ribs in place. Bam, 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 bam. Put a 1/8 inch by 1/8 inch here on this edge, right? Of the plywood, right? And now you can build your ribs on top of them. Just go put your ribs, boom, 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 and then you put another 1/8 inch by 1/8 inch on here towards the leading edge, and you put your ribs in place. Put your other 1/8 inch by 1/8 inch on top of the in here on the leading edge on the top side, and all you have to do just bring the top side down and use some weights and stuff like that, and you can do everything within CA. So just can be super fast. I bet you in 2 hours that we'll be talking here on a Hangout, I could build this wing.
Yeah.
It'll be that fast. And by the way, having a flaps, if you have the flaps like this, with a full sheet of 164 plywood, actually have 2 of them, you can make a few ribs in between them, right? And you have your trailing edge and leading edge. There's no shaping, none of that stuff done. But once you close this triangular shape, all this basically is just triangle like this that splits up,
Right.
and goes from tip to tip, because it's a triangular shape, has a super torsional rigidity. No
Mhm.
flex. Though you're not gonna have flex in that, and because it's like that, you could probably even finish it without even putting paper on it.
Right.
I mean, you could just shoot some primer, sand it off nicely, and just go color, done. I mean, just simple as that. I mean, shoot. Is it feasible? I say yes. For sure, it's feasible, right? And this is definitely going to replace the balsa that doesn't exist, and it's consistent. It's readily available. By the way, 4 feet by 4 feet from aircraft spruce of shit like this of plywood, it's about $75. Now, if you look at our kits, how much our kits cost, you know, they're pretty pricey. They're not exactly inexpensive. And $75 and basically have everything except for 3-4 ribs of balsa in there. I mean, just I think it's even price might be, you know, not too bad.
It's forward thinking that you're doing there, Trent. I mean, you know, you're attacking the idea of what can we use to cut down on the use of balsa while we can't get good balsa.
Mm-hmm.
And you're to be commended for what you're trying. I think it's workable. In fact, I was going to bring something up a little later, along similar lines, just to get your opinion, because basically what I'm doing is looking at a fully elliptical wing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm considering sheeting it.
Yeah.
And not having a spar in there at all,
Mm-hmm.
with it sheeted, and you know, with the front end curved, the leading edge curved, the trailing edge, you got to straighten it for the flap hinge line.
I remember this is the V-tail plane, right?
Well, that's that one, and that Miles 22 M22 that I'm working on.
The way I would make that is just to make a mold with ribs and foam from Home Depot. Just get some maybe in your kit you can put some a rib for the base shape, right? It's some like make it a plywood, just the base, the shape of the base, and you engrave wherever the substation for the ribs, and you put vertical ribs made out of plywood again, boom, over there, and then you fill them in with some foam in between, and now you can shape it, right? And you can use that buck for molding the balsa sheets, because you're gonna have to do that. I don't see any other way.
I mean, molding the leading edge balsa sheets.
Yes.
I was thinking, would it be necessary for me to take a slice every now and then to kind of help it have a, because otherwise it's going to want to buckle along in there, depending on how tight the curve gets.
Yeah, exactly. It all depends how tight the curve is, right? Or you could, if it's very tight and you really want to hold the shape very good, you may have to laminate them on top of each other, maybe 2 layers of 30 seconds. And those are gonna hold shape forever.
Forever, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me bring this up. This is just a little 3D, but it's solid sheeted. that wing. Make sure I got the right one going here. Okay. The tips aren't on this. Is it up yet?
Yeah, I see
Yes.
it.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a clipped wing.
Well,
11.
the tips aren't on it yet.
Okay.
Okay. It's just, the tips are so thin, they're gonna be made differently than the rest of the wing.
Mhm.
And let me, let's stop sharing that one. Let me go to this other one.
While you doing that, John, I want to tell you that Marcel Legrand says he got his motors
Oh, good.
today, and he's just installing the belt crank, and as we speak, and then the Pathfinder is coming along just great.
Outstanding.
Is it $1?
Thank you, Jeff Riley, for coming in.
No, he didn't say it. John didn't say it. Charles
Ah.
did. So John don't get $1 for that
John
one.
has to say it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hi,
can you
Brendan.
see this one?
Brendan.
Yeah, we did. Hey,
Brandon.
I got some stuff, when we kind of slow down on the topic here, I got some stuff to revisit some of the electrical issues I had, give an update, but also just throw my hands up with more electrical issues.
Sure.
All right. Can you guys see this wireframe version?
If you share the screen, yes.
Oh, maybe that's,
Might be a
Hold on a
problem.
minute. Hold on a minute. I forgot I stopped sharing.
There you go. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now
Yeah,
you
we can
talking.
see it.
Nice.
Okay, so, so there's a lot of different, the curves here are just all over the place.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's going to be, I think you kind of put me on a 2 layers of 1/32 balsa on the leading edge.
Mhm.
The rest of it I can sheet. I wanted to sheet it just because I wanted more strength.
Mhm.
I'm considering the 64th, but I'd like to laminate the 64th to maybe some 1/32 balsa, just to give it a little more stiffness in the.
Mm, 2/32 are gonna be a 16th, which we typically use, right?
Right.
That's the idea. That's
Well, then
that's why I
go
said
the
that.
16th. Just
Yeah,
Be able to
and
beat
don't
somebody
even
over the head with that thing.
Yeah, don't sheet the whole wing. I don't think it's necessary. I think if you keep the geodesic wing ribs that you have on the trailing edge, they're gonna be just nice. It's gonna be fine.
right. I've got to do a
Ah.
little trimming of some ribs in there. I've got ribs going 4.5 in various places. Some of them.
I see them. Yeah.
Some of them, this one be removed, but this one become a half rib.
Yes. Okay.
So
John,
anyway,
is there any way that you can do that with that you can make yourself a foam leading edge for that? That's the way we did the ombre. Tommy carved or cut a foam section and put it up to a piece of hardwood, and we put our leading and trailing, or our 2 leading edges on it, upper and lower, and wrapped it and made ourselves a molded. It's not a molded leading edge because it's an upper and lower. If you try to mold that thing all in one piece, it is a real nightmare.
Yeah.
But we couldn't make it work. So we went with an upper and lower and used a leading edge and butted it up to it. But he carved a leading edge because trying to take a piece of sheet and put on that and make it stick down is more of a challenge than you would believe.
I believe it. I believe
The
it.
only way that I would attempt it is to put it up to the leading edge and then cut the leading edge off some way and put a new leading edge on that you could wrap around it as it went, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because Because if you
Yeah.
try to do it, if you try to do that all in one piece where it molds in, it buckles and the surface of the wood just does all kinds of nasty things.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah,
just not worth the headache.
Because
Yeah.
you're trying to conform something in multiple directions at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. You're going in, you're going down the same time you're going, and you got a buckle right here. And it's
Yeah.
just, it's a headache.
John,
one of
I
the
think
things I'd considered was, since I can have these ribs cut, is making a buck,
Mhm.
a foam buck,
Yeah.
or a wooden buck
Mhm.
on this leading edge to form around.
Mhm.
And then I might be able to play with that forming, going straight along the leading edge,
Mhm.
or do like you guys did with 2 half shells, because it doesn't
Yeah.
bother me to have a seam in there.
Yeah.
You know, what
Are
I
you
was
gonna-
figuring on doing before was I was going to start with straight sheets and bring them over the edge and trim them off,
Mhm.
you know, after they're glued.
Yeah.
And basically was forming it in place over the
Yeah.
ribs, but it'd do better with the buck.
John,
Yeah, it's definitely.
this type of a wing will have a very nice lift distribution, but you can make it a lot simpler. Like if you keep this shape and have the same airfoil all the way through, right? It's gonna have, but you can achieve the same thing, simplifying the design and the build itself by having a straight taper and thin out the tip airfoil.
Well, look, it is tapered from center to the tip, and yeah, it's all lofted out so that the
Yeah, no, I say that, yeah. But I'm saying you probably kept the same airfoil all the way through.
well,
to the
actually, I
tip, right?
changed the airfoil as I got towards the tip. I made it a little bit, how would I put it? A little bit thicker, about a half a percentage point, and moved the high point a little bit forward to help delay the stall on the tip. So but it's much thicker in the center than it is at the tip. The tip.
Which is why you're trying to conform something in multiple directions at the same time. And
You're right. You're right on
Yeah.
that.
Yep. So yeah, I don't see this. I mean, it's like I think you can get away quite easily by just taking the balsa and splice it every, say, 3/4 of an inch, right?
Yeah.
And do just, you know, yeah, just splice it like that, but stagger it, right?
Uh-huh.
So instead of being on top of each other, they're gonna be offset a little bit, so they
Yeah.
kind of fall in the center of the other one.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be a big deal. If you have a buck, but now if you make the buck, make the base like 3/4 of an inch tall, right?
Right.
And then you start with a half, your core of your wing, right?
Right.
And then on the trail or on a maximum thickness, do the same thing. So you can put the finished product horizontally on the top of the table. You take a exact knife blade and you glue it on the top of the 3/4 inch block, and you're just running against the leading edge. Then you flip this stuff vertical and you're running the blade again against the trailing edge, and now you trim both ends just about perfectly. Make sense?
Yeah. There was another thing I was going to just run by, and then I'll get off, let somebody else to talk.
No, that's okay. This is cool stuff, man.
I was wondering how well cutting it from along parallel to the leading edge so that the balsa can slip as it makes its curve. You know what I mean? The edges could slip against each other. Do you see that happening at all? I know with the Electra has this elliptical planform, looking at it from the front. And at the tips, you actually had to slit the balsa and let it come in. And then you actually took out a small wedge of balsa, brought it together. You cut it, put one over the other, and then
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and then you glued that together, and that brought it right down just beautifully.
If it was a single sheet of balsa, I say that you have to do that, right? But if you have two sheets of balsa that are relatively thin, I think they're gonna flow and move just fine.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, you can just still cheat a little bit by doing that. But I would do it less than what you actually need. So how would I make this? I would just take a piece of paper, right? And I would slice off like every, say, 3/4 of an inch wide, right? And put it on top of the wing and let it lay in and just see how much they overlap, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you measure that, the overlap, right?
Yeah.
And it's gonna give you some whatever number is gonna be approximately. So if they say they overlap, say this is 1/4 of an inch here, 1/4 of an inch over there, 1/4 of an inch over there, and then adds up, say, to, for sake of argument, an inch, right? Then I would splice it like you said, but I would splice it to add up some 3/4 of an inch, a lot less, right? Because you want to make sure they jam against each other.
Right.
That's one way. But just looking at the shape that you have over there, you don't have very, very aggressive, shape change, right? It's very flowy, very straight-ish, right?
Yeah.
It's
That-
not
that is-
exactly a ruled surface, but it's still a compound surface.
Yeah, that is actually a true
Yeah.
elliptical surface.
That wing's doing this as it goes out.
Let me interrupt for a second, you guys. I just want to say hi to Walter. Thank you for coming in, Walter, and thank you,
Hey,
Tom, for coming in.
Thanks.
Hey, appreciate
Hi,
you guys.
everybody.
Who'd we lose?
And you guys, I appreciate the subject, but let me let's let Brendan come in. He wants to talk about something else, and so go ahead, Brendan.
All right, I'm going to revisit talking about kind of some of my flying problems a couple weeks ago with the ESC programming and the magnets and all that stuff. So I'm going to kind of reset things here, but I've had a lot of trial and error and a lot of error. So I got a Exceed Rocket. It's kind of an off-brand motor that's a 3025 760 kilovolt. And I was running that with an 11 by 5.5 prop on a Phoenix 45. So I was using a 4S battery on that. So if y'all remember, I was running that in a high gov mode, and really setting any of the RPMs like I traditionally do, anywhere from 10,000 on lower, I was getting 4.4 second lap speeds. Like it was consistent. So it was just, it was screaming and going too fast. So when I was on here a couple weeks ago with this, Dennis talked about counting the magnets inside the shell. And it did end up that my setting for the ESC, I had set it at 4 magnets, but it really has 10 in it. So I go back out there in a high gov mode with a setting at 10 magnets, and it was still screaming no matter where I kind of set it. It was still at a 4.7 lap speed. And so I talked to Will Hubin about some stuff, and and that's whose timer and programmer I use. And he suggested going to a low gov setting and using throttle mode. So I'll kind of start there with some stuff for the electric guys. Do you all ever use throttle mode instead of the?
I have.
Okay. Do others use throttle mode in a low gov setting? Or is it more efficient for high gov RPM setting? I mean, I'll toss that around first.
I
Well,
can't
I
talk
was
about it
having-
because I never used the KR timer, so I don't know anything about it.
Okay.
I have one on my Vector, and it works fine. But you're talking about you mean a Hubin timer? You used a Hubin timer.
Right.
Okay, if you use a Hubin timer, that's what I had on my Nobler. And I had all kinds of trouble with it to start with. And I got in touch with Dennis, and I talked to Dennis about it, and I couldn't get it to work. And I finally got in touch with Will Hubin and talked to him. And if you will do what Will says do, it will work. That is an incredibly smart man, and he knows how to make that thing work. But some of the things don't sound exactly right, and you have to sneak up on it. You'll figure, well, maybe I put a little more RPM in it here, a little more governor in it here, and you'll fine tune it. But he'll get you flying. If you'll do what he says, you'll get to flying.
I mean, I did some of the modifications. I went to the low gov setting and then programmed it throttle mode instead of RPM. And then what I started getting was literally the flight would go 3 minutes and I'd get a 4.3 second lap speed to start it and a 4.7 at the end. So something just wasn't.
Well, that don't sound right at all.
Something wasn't consistently governing in there.
And Brendan, I've used throttle mode with an electric bislab that I have, and I use it in compensated mode so that it bumps the voltage up. It sounds like you're using throttle mode at a set percentage, and as the battery wears down, the voltage goes down, so the speed goes down. So it doesn't sound like the governor's working like the way you want it to. It sounds like it's working just in pure throttle mode.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't sound like it's governing at all.
No, it's bad. The results I'm getting are really bad.
Okay,
Brendan,
let's circle back a little bit. What kind of ESC are you using exactly?
A Phoenix 45 is what I was using on that because I was
Okay.
I was using a bigger motor than I traditionally have.
All right. You either use I like using a set RPM mode, but I think I'm the only one who does. And I'd have to second what Phil said. If Phil recommended if Will recommended going to low gov and stuff like that, I suggest maybe just keep working with Will and have him talk. Since I'm coming in the middle here, I don't know what he told you, but you keep working with Will, he'll probably sort it out for you. One real wild card would be just to send you a program from one of my Phoenix 30, one of my Phoenix ESCs, and you can literally take what I have and you can program your Phoenix to be exactly like that. And that would do it, except I don't have anything, I've never used anything low gov mode. So I'm not really sure. And so I say, if Will said go low gov, then, I'd say go with that. But I think that's really going to be your best shot. So keep riding.
Can you pull your settings up on the computer so that you could share them with the crew here so they can see what your Phoenix is set at?
You know what? I don't have the CastleLink software downloaded on this computer to be able to pull it up because this is a Chromebook versus a more robust laptop that could take that program.
Well, if you could get that and maybe email it out to Dennis to take a look at or me to take a look at, you can find us both on Stunthangar someplace. Maybe there's something in the settings that we could look at and key in on and maybe duplicate in our systems and try and understand it.
Yeah, I think I like that.
Yeah, I can seek you guys out. I think I got Dennis's email already, but I can seek you out.
Well, you can reach me through Brodak. Just the Dennis at Brodak. I think that's how we connected before.
Okay.
Yeah, if you get it to Dennis, that's fine. I just would be a second opinion is all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that. I just my whole world's been kind of tossed upside down by the whole magnet thing because I think I talked about it before. Since these are kind of low end motors, some of the charts they presented the word poles, and I assumed that was magnets, which it traditionally is, but they actually presented the numbers wrong. And so, when I actually went and counted the magnets in the housing shell, it's like double what it says is poles in their chart. So I've been flying with these things for a year and a half with these motors and trying to get RPMs and high gov mode set. and I've got flight books, I've got kind of notes, and this is what I've been doing. And now here I am kind of revisiting to this with actually trying to put the real magnet count in there. And it's all whacked out. It's really, I'm running into a bunch of strange stuff.
Mhm.
If all falls through, Brandon, I have a timer that I made a timer for myself that works beautiful, and it's very simple, very easy to use. So, and yeah, that's that.
Yeah, I guess one thing I could throw out here is the 760 kilovolt motor. Is that I'm running it on a 4S battery? Is it more appropriately suited for like a 5S or something else?
I think 4 is fine.
Well, let's put it this
So-
way. If anything, it should be running slower, not fast.
Yeah. So look,
Yeah.
this is what you do. You do 760, which is your kV, right?
Mm-hmm.
Times the number of cells, which is 4, times 3.7 volts per cell, right?
Right.
And the grand total, it's 11,250 RPMs, roughly, right? Which is plenty headroom. And as you can see, I'm almost sure you're running close to max if you have that lap time.
Mhm.
I bet you're running 10,000 RPMs on that thing. They never slows down to whatever you want it to.
Yeah.
For reference, Brendan, I run 10,000 RPM with 11 by 5.5 on my setups on 63-foot lines, 63-foot lines, and I'm turning about a 5.2, 5.3.
Okay.
Yeah, you're
So
running
sounds like
you're running at full RPM, and you're running either without a governor or you're running your batteries dry. That's the only way it's going to slow. It's slowing. The only way it's going to slow down beginning to end is if it flat out isn't governing, or if it's just burning out the batteries. And that's neither one of those is a timer issue. I think it's in your ESC settings somewhere somehow.
Okay. Hey, John, going back to your, just real quick, you mentioned a bislob earlier.
Yep.
People had seen me working on a bislob before with my son and getting it together. What kind of lap speed do people traditionally try to get on a bislob?
Bislob, you don't look at
Slow
lap
down.
speed. You look at just enough thrust to either make it hover or to slightly climb when you go vertical.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, my son, he's kind of, he's getting a lot better at flying. So it was really to get him in the air and stuff. So, yeah, I just kind of wondered what kind of, so you said just to get it enough in the air, because you're then flying it downwind the whole time is the plan.
Right. I have both gas and electric. When I fly my gas, I set it so that it climbs. Excuse me, it won't climb. It kind of drops a little bit. And then as the fuel level goes down, it starts to climb towards the end of the flight. When I did the electric, I had to tune the percentage of throttle, and I use compensated throttle, so it's the same from beginning to end. And I found about 51% throttle running the 11 by 4.5 prop was about right. But I mean, it's going to depend on what setup you have.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
again,
that's
the key thing for the bislob is vertical performance. What's it going to do? You want it to either climb just a little bit or just hover, and then you'll get the most performance you can out of the bislob that way.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what I was
that's-
trying to ask based on lap speed. I was hoping that could be like the consistent number I try to hit to then know if I'm going to get the performance out of it. But yeah.
See,
Well, with the
Brendan,
electric-
the thing about that airplane, it's hard to get a lap time because most of us never do a lap with that airplane.
I was going to say, I got 2 minutes on mine. I definitely know, I'm doing maneuvers right up till about, 1 minute and 57 seconds. I do half a lap and land. That's it.
That's it. I've got one with about 35 flights on it. I don't think it's ever done 35 laps.
They don't fly level very well anyway.
No, they don't.
All right.
Bislob, it's just a fun plane. Just go and thrash it around and just have fun.
It
And
is. I play with it out in my
Second,
backyard.
hanging on the
It's just a
motor.
fun plane.
Yeah.
I drive the neighbors crazy with it.
Oh, also, Brandon, the more wind, the better for the bislob.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
On the days I won't take anything else out, I've got the bi-slab out there hanging on the end of the lines.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, we were nervous. We were at the Nats earlier in the week, but the wind was horrendous that week. And I don't know, we were talked out of trying the bi-slob there, those wind gusts of 15 to 20. But yeah, that may have been perfect conditions to do it.
For general flying, it would have been fine. The landing might have been a little dicey is all, but the higher the wind, the better. I took mine out for a RC club meeting, and the guys had never seen one fly before, and it was windier than hell, and I'm out there flying around, and I'm hanging it, flying it like a kite. And these guys are just, they're really enjoying it. I did maybe one lap the entire flight, and I was just doing figure eights, loops, insides, outsides. And then when the timer was run out, I just went ahead and leveled out, did half a lap, and landed.
Well,
It's fun
I
airplane.
got an 11-year-old with that. And so, kind of hearing about this and whatnot, I'm sure that's just something different for him that's right up his alley if I can get that thing tuned up right.
Oh, you'll have a good time with it, I guarantee it.
I've had one framed up for about 10 years and haven't finished it off. So I'm going to have to trying to. It's got to bubble up to the top because I know John is. I haven't seen your electric. I saw that the gas job, and you had your electric at Randy Ryan's that one night. You had some trouble with it. We couldn't fly it. I don't know. That's how close. I had my hand on the handle, and he's trying to light it up, and the thing wouldn't light up. So, but that's how close I came to flying a bi-slob. So.
It's plug and play now, Danny. If you're going to be at Cleveland, I'll have it out there.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Well, I jumped on just for my electrical piece, and I appreciate you kind of working me through these things. But, I was up late last night and haven't had much sleep. So I'm calling it a night early. But I appreciate you guys kind of weighing in on stuff. And you'll see me around, and I'll send out some emails to you guys with some of those settings to hopefully get some ideas on what to do.
Try to take care, Brandon. Just remember one thing. Brandon, just remember one thing. You come in here for a little fun and fellowship. What do you get? Made fun of, talked down to. Hey, have a great time, buddy.
All right. Thanks, fellas.
Ooh.
Walter,
Well,
what's
let me
happening with you, Walter?
Joe's, I built a very flat table the other day, and yeah, so I took your all's advice and used some of that epoxy. And at first, I was afraid it'd be too thick, so I may not have stirred it as long as it did. But it did turn out nice and flat, as well as dried up nicely.
Oh,
so for the first time, yeah. So I did get it mixed properly. It's interesting. I put a big T-square on it, and I thought, oh goodness, this is not flat. But it turns out that it's so clear. There's an optical illusion between where it's touching that resin and the bottom of the table. And what I did was, it's an easy build. You could literally take some base cabinets, put them together, put a door on top, and then use a 3-foot or a yardsticks and put around it, and tape it up, and there you go. But it's nice. I also took a set of plans, and cut it up and put it on the table with a little bit of spray adhesive, and so you can't mistake that for a dining room table anymore. It's definitely a model building table. So
that's cool.
Anyway, got a nice flat surface for building, and I took your advice on that. Huh?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Hey, Walter,
Well, I'll tell you what.
The same plane over and over.
Sir.
But you have to keep building the same plane over and over.
Well, you got to put, I see.
Either that or you have to build a new workbench.
Right, right. No, you can't build that same plane over.
No.
But it adds to the Yeah, I know what you mean. So
I think it's neat. That sounds great.
yeah,
Sounds
so there
awesome.
you go. We got a flat surface for building some wings here in the
There you
wintertime.
go. There you
And,
go. John, I got one for you before I forget it.
All right.
Where are we going to get to laser cut these parts? I got to looking at how many parts and pieces are in the 2 bits. Brother, that's a lot of parts.
There is a lot of parts there.
I
You've
started
got
putting
2
wood.
wings to begin with. That
Oh,
that
yeah,
almost
well, I was
makes-
just looking at the number of ribs, and I started piling up. I mean, you got it drawn, and you got it drawn, the parts laying on a piece of wood. So I started piling up a piece of wood. Okay, I need this for this, and I need this for these, and I need this for this. That's a lot of wood.
Mhm. Yeah.
I got to get
I,
all that cut now.
I
I have
had
to wait a Walt. I have to wait a Walt gets to feeling a little better and ask him if he wants a real project. I'll send him some real nice wood.
Walt has cut the 2 bits.
Oh, he has?
Yeah. There was a fella in Arizona that just absolutely wanted one, and I told him it's not finished yet, and he says, that's all right. I want it. I can use it as it is and that. So I said, okay, but remember, I told you it's not finished yet,
Mm-hmm.
and Walter cut him a short kit.
Yeah.
I've also
Well, the only
used,
thing I got, the only thing I got questions about is in the fuselage, which is totally new to me. I don't usually have problems with fuselage, but I don't have the plans in front of me to remember what it was. But it looks like it's got an inner fuselage that just comes back so far, and then it's got an outer fuselage.
Yep,
Okay, that's what I was looking at. Okay.
that's built
when
to
I-
handle the torque of that bigger, that Stalker 81.
Well, that's what I'm planning on putting in it, because that's a big airplane and a lot of wood.
About 800 square inches, so
Yeah, it's a big airplane, but it ought to be a lot of fun on the end of the wires.
and look at the length of the fuselage back there,
Yeah.
and that's almost 4 feet long, maybe 4 feet.
Well, I tell you what, when we get it finished, I want to get some pictures of that one, because I'm going to do it with paint. I can't do that with monocoat. No, I'm not that talented, but I can paint it. And I have for years said I was going to one day build a plane that's got some green on it. I've never done it. I had a little Satan one time that was green, and I kept losing that darn thing in the grass, and I just have never had another green airplane. But that thing is really pretty. What are you doing there, Peter?
Yeah, what are you doing there, Peter?
What's that?
What are you doing?
Oh, I'm cleaning stuff up.
Oh, I was wondering what
There's
you.
one touch panel,
Oh, okay.
and I've got the other wireless touch panel that I'm using as a remote for my cameras, my printers, and everything
Wow.
else. So it's
Okay.
basically a touch panel with graphics. You press the buttons on the touch screen, and it goes off and does what it does.
Peter, has anybody told you you're too dang high tech?
So no, I've got all of this stuff. So that's a small wireless. This is a wired.
I first met Pete back in the old CompuServe days. And Pete came on and he put together kind of a walkthrough virtual museum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, you remember that?
Yeah. And
Wow.
I actually posted in there, and you put the pictures up on the wall in that museum.
Yep. And you'd walk into the room, and then you'd go to different pictures that are hanging on the wall, click on them, and they would take you to different bits of information or whatnot. That's a long time ago.
Long time, over 20 years ago.
Yeah. Gee. I mean,
20 years used to seem like a long time. Now it don't seem like very long at all.
That one thing, Phil, if you're gonna paint it, cover it with silk
Mm-hmm.
and dye your silk, or do like Pete Peterson does out here. He uses tint, and he tints his clear dope the color he wants. And you get these
That's what I do,
beautiful
and spray it
translucent-
on.
Yeah, beautiful translucent finishes.
Yeah. I'll show you
Good
my
night,
ring
boys.
master when it's finished. I did that way.
What'd you say,
Gotta go.
Walter? All right,
Gotta go
Walter.
work
Thanks for coming in.
Good
All
Oh,
right.
night.
shoot. Walt,
care,
take
man.
care, buddy. See you Monday, I hope.
Take
I
care,
hope
Walter.
so. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Okay.
I'm gonna turn in pretty soon myself. But anyway, Charles, let me see if I can pick this thing up and get it on screen. I don't think I've got enough room behind me to show this thing, but I'll try. This is a seriously big plan.
I'm gonna try.
Oh, that wasn't Eclipse. The Eclipse, that was just the plane going over the. Anyway, I don't
Wow.
know if he. She's a big one.
Now, what model is this again? I forgot.
This is Tom Dixon's Laser 200. And if you look at Gid Atkinson's Laser 200, the fuselage looks an awful lot like it was taken from this plan and just improved on. And I shouldn't say improved on because I actually like this fuselage better than the other one. But
Nice.
which one's better? I don't know. But I'm planning on building this one and putting the 4-stroke in it. And the other one and putting the 81 in it. So I don't know. It's going to be, I don't think it's going to be as hard to build as it looks. It really, it's there's a lot to it, but it's just big pieces. It's just real big pieces. But I mean, just the front of the fuselage. Look how big that monster is. I don't know if you can even see it.
Yeah, we can.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That's quite a large aircraft. But anyway, I don't know. I remember seeing a guy fly one of these back in the 70s. And just after Tom designed it, and I cannot remember the gentleman's name, but he's from Florida. He crashed it at Winston-Salem, walked out from the center of the circle, walked up to it, and just walked right down the length of the wings. Anybody see a stunner out here? Oh my gosh. I said, why in the world did you do that? He said, I have fought that airplane for 2 years.
Oh,
He
yeah,
said, I'm
he's
ready to
fighting
move
the
on.
airplane. Yes, you're gonna want
I'm
to.
ready to move on. And I said, well, it was evident to everybody what was wrong. The fuselage, the wings were in the thing crooked, and it wasn't straight anywhere. He didn't know he knew about building airplanes, but he didn't know about squares and squaring things up. And it just was not square any which way. And the wings and the elevators, they were kind of cocked to one another. And it was, Tom Dixon said, that's probably the most merciful thing that could have happened to the airplane. I will never forget that.
Wow.
And
I can imagine trampling a wing. Well, I've been frustrated
man.
at planes before, but not to the point where I'll tread on it and just trample it and stomp
I've seen two guys stomp airplanes. First one was a Zen acrobat, and a good friend of mine did it. He just was so tired of fighting. He said, there's a warp or something in that airplane. I'm tired of chasing it. And in this one, the big laser, boy, when it went in, I just, but he had an Enya engine in that thing. And it just, I had never seen an Enya that I liked before, but that one ran really well, but the airplane didn't. But a year later, when I saw him, I had to compete against him down in Georgia. And he had a stunt wagon 60, and he had that big Enya in it. I thought, well, I know I don't have to worry about that one because that's too much weight on the nose of a stunt wagon. There's no way. But what I didn't realize, he'd shortened the nose of the darn thing, and it flew very well. I got him, but I didn't get him by much. He was quite a good flyer. He was an older gentleman, and he said his skills were waning, and I was a young fella and getting better. But he was I can't remember his name, but he was such a nice guy, you couldn't not like him. I can't remember, but there was a lot of guys back then like that. One of the guys kind of remind me of the guy kind of remind me of Larry Scarenzi. He comes up and he's just crazy as he can be, but you had to like him. Larry Scarenzi was a mess. When I finally met him, I had already fallen in love with two of his designs, one combat and one stunt. And then I didn't know he'd done the Blue Angel. And I saw the Blue Angel and I was just, good gosh, that's a big airplane. What is that funny looking motor with a glow head mounted up sideways on it. Now I've got 5 of the darn things in airplanes. So Fox 59.
59,
So-
yeah, that's a Fox 59.
Yeah, he's Screnzy was just a really interesting fella. I met him several times, and I really enjoyed cutting up with him. But I've enjoyed cutting up with about everybody I've met in the hobby. There's very few people that I've met in this hobby that I don't like, and
I
I've
agree.
never done anything else like that.
I met Larry Screnzy at Brodax in 2016.
Yeah, he's a mess. He's a
So
mess.
I'm gonna
He's
go. Good night.
Hey, Tryon,
I'm
thanks for
beat
coming in,
up. I'm
Tryon.
sorry.
It's okay. It just seems like people are tired tonight. I understand. I was thinking, is this Monday or is this Friday? But it's Friday.
Oh, this is Friday, but I
Friday.
just got to get up early in
This
the
is
morning
supposed
and
to
go.
be
I'm
happening. Supposed to be partying. We don't
Yeah,
gotta
right,
work
you know,
tomorrow,
yeah.
technically.
Where's Steve?
Charles?
Where's Mike? You know?
Charles, wait a few years, brother. You'll know what we're talking about.
Gary's
Tran?
starting over there.
Yeah, you be careful, and I'm gonna look for this stuff tomorrow and give you a call. I'm going flying in the morning with the guys, but be careful.
Cool.
Everybody have a great week. Stay out of trouble.
Yep.
If you
All
can't
right.
stay out of trouble, don't name it after me. It might act like me. You don't need that. Take care, guys.
Now
All right,
we know
Steve,
how
thanks for
to
coming
name
in.
it.
And thank you, Tryon, for coming in. Appreciate it.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
See you Monday.
All right.
I turned a year older yesterday, so I'm
Really?
feeling old.
Well, happy birthday, Mike.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm 63.
You're 63. I'm 63. Bobby 64 in December.
Just a kid.
Yep. And I love that about
Catches
Bobby.
up.
Just a kid.
It catches up whether I like it or not.
Yeah. You know what? We can't help getting older, but we can help from getting old.
Yeah.
You know, because people who know me, they go, "You don't act your age." And I go, "Well, I try not to. It's a fight. It's a battle."
Got my Aries today.
Really?
Soon, yeah, I got it. So I'm
You got it.
studying
So this the
destruction.
Android kit or Brodak kit?
Brodak kit. Ain't no way I'm doing an Android kit. When I took my dad's apart, that Android one that was way too heavy, that spar had to weigh 3 ounces by itself.
By itself, wow.
God, that
I've
was-
never seen an Android kit. I just remember seeing the advertisement of
Yeah.
the Aries, the Android Aries kit. Hey, Mike.
I think I'm going to call it an evening too.
Welcome back, Tom.
You getting out of here, Mike Millard?
Yep, I'm going to call it.
All right. Well, I'll be down. Okay. Well, it makes things simpler. I have just one mic.
Okay.
Losing one mic and gaining a mic.
I'll put this thing somewhere.
So, Tom, what you been up to, Tom? I know that I haven't seen any of the videos so forgive me. I haven't seen the tech videos, but you been doing anything else? Oh, you muted, Tom.
There's too many.
I forgot it was muted.
Access points.
We had really awful weather here. Rained all day today, and it's just been really rainy. But we had the grandkids here today, so
Oh, okay. Yeah. And say no more.
spent it inside doing projects and stuff.
Say
so.
no more. I know that's something a lot of us have in common here. We have grandkids visiting us and stuff. I have a granddaughter coming into California. I think they said they're gonna move here in September, so I'll be seeing my granddaughter much more frequently, which would be awesome.
Our high was 63 degrees today. That was our high.
That was your high? Wow, we
Yeah.
never got that low.
Yeah, right.
That was the highest we got.
Wow. Hey, Howard. Hey, thanks for coming in, Howard.
All right.
Did you just get through flying?
No.
Okay.
So Charles,
Yeah. Go ahead.
you didn't
Okay,
show
Tom.
the calendar this
Oh,
month.
thank you, man.
Two
Thank you
months.
very much. Man, I've been working on that. Let me grab my calendar real quick. Hang on one second.
Hi, John.
Hey Howard, did you get my email regarding what is it called, a vicus or ficus or something like that?
No.
Okay.
Recently?
Yeah, I sent it via Stunthangar probably about a week ago. I was just asking for a little detail about how that interfaces with the TUT. Maybe I'll send it to you via private message so you get it. I don't know if the email that you have on Stunthangar is still current or not.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember getting it. I'm sorry.
Okay, not a problem.
Something to attempt. What a mess. What a mess. I'm trying to figure out this mess. What a mess. Gee.
Hey there, hi there, ho there.
Hey there. I can figure out way there.
Wild Steve in the house. Look at that.
Holy shit.
Can you believe it?
Hey, since you're on, I was going to show everybody. I started soldering on the badass deal and fucked it up. So this one's yours.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Anybody can work with one that's, straight out of the box. I need something with a challenge.
They don't come in a box. They come in a little plastic bag, but nah, yours is still in the bag.
Okay. Until you smoke that one?
I ain't smoking anymore. I mean, I smoked the last one, and that's, Howard explained to me how that happened, so I won't do that stuff anymore.
Oh, that's right. You didn't have smoke. You just got real hot.
Yes. So, but I was going to show everybody on mine. I always cut out the heat sink and then glue
the covering off of it.
Yeah, and then glue the name thing on the sides. So, but it'll probably make this thing run 10, 20 degrees cooler. And putting insulation on it, which I never understood why they did that.
It's just easier.
Because the heat sink has a voltage potential on it. So if it touches anything else that it could short to, that could be dangerous.
Yeah. How they do the ones in with the aluminum case on them?
I suppose they're the same way, I would think.
With the heatsink case, could you ground that out?
I don't know. I never heard of it before, but I'll get a meter and see if I can pick up voltage off of that case.
Yeah.
Off the heatsink part of it. But yeah, I've never had a problem with them like that, but they usually set the airstream away from everything else. But knowing me, I guess I could probably figure out a way to either let the smoke out or overheat it, so that one quit working too.
There, Charles has the calendar up.
Who's that?
That's my navigator.
Ow. I know, that's what I was like, who's that?
Very cool. Thank you so much, Tom, for participating. And is Gary awake?
I don't think so. So what the hell are you working on, John? Are you building now? That Korean one?
Yes, I just finished the center section. That's why people probably saw me running back and forth. Just put the bottom sheeting on, just glued down using Tight Bond 3. I'm working on the adjustable lead out right now. This came with the kit as well.
Oh, okay. You should, are you on a laptop or a tablet?
I'm on a laptop.
Oh, well, maybe you could carry it over and show everybody the airplane.
Hey,
Pretty
Steve,
cool
thanks for
airplane.
coming in, Steve.
That one?
That's okay. Oh, yeah, there we are.
Look at that.
We can pin him and
Yeah, let me pin him here.
yeah, if John doesn't build like 5 airplanes a year, we know we need to send him to a doctor. Something's wrong.
Oh, nice. Wow, looks good. Very cool.
You know me,
John.
I have to build to stay out of the bars, so.
Yeah.
I didn't catch what that plane is that you're building, John. What are you building?
When I was over in Korea here a couple years back, before I came back to the US, the guys gave me 2 laser cut kits that somebody designed over there. And they said, hey, build these when you get a chance and let us know what you think. You know, so I've had a number of projects over time, but these finally bubbled up and I'm building them. I have 2 kits, and what I did is I separated the wood out, heavy wood and light wood. They're all the same, you know, from a design standpoint, but there was differences in wood. So I'm going to build one heavy, one light, and see if there's much difference in flight performance.
Is there stunners, or what would you categorize?
Yeah, I would say there's stunners, probably about the size of a Banshee. Similar layout, straight chord wing with, you know, some tapered flaps. This one has kind of a smallish tail. I would like to, you know, I'd really like to make it bigger, but I'm going to build as designed and just see how it works out. I may make, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, I may make the tail removable so I can slide in my own tail that I think would be better later on.
Very cool. Well, thank you for showing.
What's the name of it?
You know, they didn't tell me, and there's no plans for it either. So I'm going to put the transliteration Hangu Pihengi on the wing. I'll have to figure out how I'm going to spell that in English. And if I can, I may try and cut the Korean letters for it as well.
Oh, what does that mean?
A Korean airplane.
Oh, Korean.
Yeah, keep
What
it
if you
simple.
hum it on Dale? If you make it hard, it's too difficult.
That is taking
simple is better.
Yeah, really. Oh shit. So you've been getting any flying in your backyard, or?
I haven't flown over here. I flew yesterday. I took my Chipmunk out, and that's with the double star 40 on it. And I flew it, and the first run I ran was probably about 7,600 RPM. It was a little slow, and I'm running 5% fuel, and it's got just a hell of a brake on it. So whenever I pulled into a maneuver, it worked out great, but it was just low, you know, or slow on lap time. And then I bumped it up to about 83 and flew it again, and it was much better. So on 4 ounces of 5% fuel, I'm getting about 6 minutes and 20 seconds of flight time. I didn't get lap time on it, but it felt reasonable. Maneuvered well. The engine wasn't very steady though in level flight. It never quit, but it just didn't have a constant RPM, which I'm, you know, more used to. So I'll have to play around, maybe bump some of the oil back. I was running 20% oil. I may run back to 18%, see if that doesn't help. But it was good. I haven't had that out in about a year, and I forgot how well the Chipmunk can actually fly.
Cool. Yeah. Just got to remind me the next time we hook up, and we end up trading stuff back and forth that we buy, and I want to bring that double star 40 of mine and see if you can even get it to run halfway decent.
You know, I'm gonna lie to you. If it runs great, I'm gonna say it's a piece of crap, and I'm never gonna give it back.
Yeah. Very smart. I have a double star 61. I just eyed it a couple days ago. I go, I haven't used this motor since I flew my I had a top flight score that I had a double star 61 in.
Side exhaust or rear exhaust?
Rear exhaust.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just this 40, I don't know. I opened up the Venturi like John said they said to do, and ran different fuel in it and all that kind of stuff. And it runs just as shitty as it did on the bench to the last time I tried to put it in an airplane. I mean, it just...
well, you know that one's got sub piston and induction, and if you have any back pressure on the exhaust side, it really messes with the engine.
Oh, I used the muffler that came with it.
Okay. Well, I would hope that would be free enough. I had Big Art made one for me that's straight through. It's a tongue muffler with 8 big holes on the end, and it just shoots straight out because I didn't like all the oil getting on the airplane, and having it shoot straight out was a better solution than having it shoot 90 degrees up and then just, spray
Oh,
the
come on.
inboard side of the fuselage. So that helped quite a bit. I still get a bunch on the wing, but at least the fuse isn't as bad.
Well, I have a tongue muffler for a Fox, and won't that fit right up the Fox? And that's the same muffler setup.
Yeah, it'll get on there, but I think depending on which version you have, it may be a little too restrictive. I have a couple from.
I'll just cut the whole end of it off and let it blow straight out. And we won't get no back pressure then.
Take the muffler right off and run it without the muffler on there. See how it runs.
Yeah, I took it out of the airplane, but it had been inside the cowl. That's why I didn't want to try that.
Well, then your solution to cut the end right out, just make a stack that extends out past the cowl. That would be fine.
Yeah.
I can certainly try it. It'll mount into my any of my Fox mounts. Plus, it'll go into the Chipmunk as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get it over there one of these days.
Okay.
I keep forgetting to bring it every time that I see you, and I forget the damn thing. But it's not a very memorable motor anyway, so.
They're a little temperamental. Charles, you were saying something about your 61?
No, I was just going to talk about my Stalker. I have 2 Stalker 81s, and one of them I took out of service because it had bad bearings, but I had ordered a new piston sleeve earlier this year. And when I was putting the motor back together, I realized that the piston sleeve was worn out. The bottom of the crank, I could see space between the pin on the crank and the connecting rod. And so I put a new piston sleeve, but it was so tight. I mean, it was like hard to turn over. I thought something was wrong. And I went out today and bench run it, and the engine runs great, but I've never had an engine so tight as that tight. I thought it was something was wrong. I actually was wondering if it needed to be honed or something. Just amazing how tight that motor was, but it flipped over, it did start and ran. But I've never seen anything so tight. I almost called John Miller and asked him if he ever had that kind of experience with a Stalker motor. Just unbelievable. I mean, it's so tight, it squeaks,
Did you get your other one running good?
Yeah, I put a hotter plug in it today and flew the plane a couple times. The engine is running more consistent. I mean, as far as starting, I mean, it always just ran good. It was just getting it to start, right? And put the hotter plug in there. Is that motor, it seemed like when I first got it, I had a cool plug in it and it ran good. Then it seemed to need a medium plug. And maybe it's just the motor's breaking in, and as it's getting broken in, it's just the glow plugs are changing. And but today with a hot plug in A6, still no nitro and 18% all synthetic, the motor was running awesome. I was just running around 6,300 to 6,400 RPMs, and I was getting like 5-second lap times.
Did you get your tension back, adjusting your lead outs?
Yes, yeah. I actually would like to extend the slot that's lead outs to go through. I need to open up that hole to go further back, because the CG is so much further back than it was when I first flew the plane, 5-6 years ago. And the plane turns really nice. I'm still in the trimming stage. It's getting better. It's just flight by flight, trim by trim, getting better and better. But thank you, Howard. That was great. I did move the lead outs. The lead outs as far back as they can. One thing which is limiting it is just the slot and the wingtip. I don't know about the slider. The slider might go back even further, but maybe not. So I might even having to do something with the adjuster, lead out adjuster as well. But it's looking good.
You still have line tension at 45 degrees?
I didn't do too much above 45 degrees today. But you know, it's kind of like, you know, when you are, let me see here. It's like I was just tentative. The wind was inconsistent wind. It was changing directions today, and so I was just careful out here. You know, we had warm temperatures, Tom, but the wind was a little dicey out here today for some reason. So hopefully later on I'll get a chance to go above 45. I just stayed everything below 45 degrees. I mean, I did a wing over and that kind of stuff, but.
Was there less humidity than the days you had trouble today?
That's a good, you know, I have a, is that a barometer? Is that the gauge you'd use for humidity?
Yeah.
I have one. I've been meaning to mount it in my box. I remember Wendy Arnowski had one mounted in his field box, and I have a little small barometer, and I've been meaning to mount it so I can actually be cognizant of that. I just not.
Yeah, barometer is pressure. Humidity is.
Do you have a smartphone?
Kind of smart. Yeah.
Can you get the World Wide Web on your phone?
No, I need to have Wi-Fi. I mean, I have cell calls and all that, but the internet is not that good out there. My friend Joe Mata, he can pull all that information down on his smartphone.
I can send you a website that'll give you what you're looking for is density ratio.
Okay.
That humidity doesn't mean nothing.
Okay. So that wouldn't be a barometer indicator. It'd be what would it be?
You could do it with a barometer and a thermometer and a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's easier just to look on the website.
Barometer is atmospheric pressure. Yeah.
Yeah, it goes to the local local airport or wherever the closest weather station is, and it'll
which is typically 14.7 psi at sea level.
Yeah, it'll tell you the density, which is what your loop radius capability is inversely proportional to.
All right, cool. I'm sure Joe is listening.
Well, isn't it though when if relative humidity is up, your air density is greater, right?
No, it's the other way around, but it's a trivial amount, pretty much. But this has humidity in it too, so you can enter humidity and you see what effect it has.
Yeah.
And
isn't the instrument called psychrometer for measuring humidity? I think there's one called the sling psychrometer.
That'll give you a wet bulb temperature and a dry bulb temperature, and you can figure it out from the chart.
Right.
I inherited one from my daddy. I think I have it posted in the shop. Let me look further.
I think on full-size aircraft, they call it density altitude. And
well, they call it density altitude because pilots kind of relate to that better than they do density. And if you get used to looking at density altitude, you can see what the density altitude is and relate it to density altitudes you've seen before, and then get an idea of what your
performance, motor performance,
what your airplane's going to fly like. But it's nothing you can calculate anything from. Density as a density ratio. Let me find the app on my telephone. Here's, you see that? No.
Oh yeah, I saw it temporarily. I saw 728. Saw some units. I don't know if the units were.
Yeah. You just enter the numbers from your local weather station, and then it'll give you air density in pounds per cubic foot, which is probably not very useful to you, but density, altitude, relative density, and dew point, other stuff like that.
Yeah, maybe you're freezing up your Venturi.
Yeah.
Getting carburetor ice.
Yeah, it could be.
I mean, you think?
That cold, wet
Humidity
air,
would have that effect.
the cold, wet air is hitting the glow plug and putting it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. All that moisture soaking into your methanol and
So there's
screwing it up.
that too. Yeah.
Does that what feel?
Well, guys, it's been fun tonight. I was doing a little build while I was listening to y'all, and then participated in some of the conversations. Hopefully I was helpful to somebody.
Oh, you was. I'm sure Brendan really appreciated it. And in between you and Denny, that was great. It was great for you to come in. And I love having, I know you've been here before, but I'm glad that you came back and came to visit us. Appreciate it.
I looked
Where'd
at
you
the
run
email. I looked at the
Send-
email, didn't see anything from you, John. So.
Okay, Howard, I just sent you a private message through Stunthangar.
Okay.
Just the question that I had. If you get a chance, answer it. And I'm just interested in more detail on it.
Okay.
And then for Tom, the check went out today for a tut.
Okay.
So that should hit you, and I'll just be waiting for, I guess, whenever you get your chips in.
All right,
So-
thank you.
So did the wife forget to buy beer for this weekend, and so you got on tonight, or what?
Well, come on, Steve, you know me better than that. The real reason I have to leave is my beer is empty. That is way past my bedtime.
Hey, well,
So,
thanks.
hey, it was fun, guys. We'll catch you next time.
All right, see you, man.
See you later, John.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Yeah, we're coming up on the after party pretty soon. It's 8:45 out here. And we don't have to wait to go to the after party. We can actually just we can go to we've had as many as, let me see here. We've had as many as 21 viewers. We're at 22 likes, 0 chat revenue, 0 new members.
Oh, wow.
Please consider supporting us with the super chats and also the memberships for the YouTube channel. It's $4.99 a month. That's just 17 cents a day. And then we just got another like, so we're up to 23 likes. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I even went in and put in a like tonight for you.
Wow, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I remember. I just forget doing that.
Yeah, it's yes, sometimes people do forget to do that. I understand.
I do it every time before I come in.
Yeah,
Oh, dear.
I appreciate that. Yeah. And you're getting good at not having the echo and looping, so I appreciate that.
Who does the echo and looping?
Well, I don't
If
want to
you
call
leave-
anyone out, but some people, when they would do the like, they come in with another tab and we'd have the looping and echoing.
Oh.
Yeah. So
I thought we liked looping in this.
what does your shirt say? Does your shirt say anything? I just see the top of the oh, the Beatles. All right. The Beatles.
The Beatles.
Are we off the air now?
ain't that the
Not
song?
yet. I can I
When
can
when somebody crashes, don't you start out singing, "Hey Jude, don't feel so bad"?
no, I don't do that. But let me go ahead and end the stream, and we can hang out. And I want to thank everybody for coming in. And those of you out there watch us on YouTube, we do this every Monday and Friday night, 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And if you're watching this as a replay, please hit the like button. That helps the analytics of the program.